everyone. Welcome back to Richard's Podcast Land. And today we'll be having Steven McCormack that's going to be our guest for this interview. But before we get started, how are you doing today so far?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you?
You're very much welcome. And I'm doing very well. It's such an honor to have you here in my podcast series today. I really appreciate it.
Honor's all mine. Thank you.
You're very much welcome. I heard that you played Joey for the upcoming movie Popeye The Slayer Man that's releasing in spring 2025. Like, how does it feel about being in that project?
It feels awesome. When I was a kid, I used to watch, like a lot of people, even people older than I enjoyed watching the Popeye cartoons. And
Mm-hmm.
he was actually one of my favorites. I used to watch him all the time. And so now that he and among other people that have been coming into the public domain, it's full circle that I kind of get to do a project that involves one of my favorite cartoon characters.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love Popeye growing up. Like, I did remember there was a live action Popeye with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall, but I heard that movie didn't work well because Robin Williams, he never loved the role as Popeye because, of the situation that has been going on. But I love the movie and I deserve it to have a lot of more good reviews. But Popeye the Slayer Man, I'm all set to see that movie because it's my first time seeing a horror movie in theaters. Because you remember Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, right? Which is in the Pooniverse.
Yep.
I never got a chance to see it because my parents will always say, "Oh, we don't want to watch a family-friendly character being a murderer." Because some people aren't always used to it, but I'll always get used to it because as long as I experience it, I will be a huge fan of these stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, it's to each their own. I think it's an interesting concept, and I think people will really, really enjoy this one. But it's completely understandable if someone's used to watching, um, a character one way and they don't want to experience it the other. That's their prerogative, and it's okay. But I think this one, I think people should really uh, take a chance and see this project. It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be a great time or horrific time.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So let's get started with the first question, shall we? Can you
Sure.
tell me your whole experience of how you got into acting? Since where did this all started? And what actor inspired you to pursue this as your career?
Great questions. Great questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a suburb called Pembroke, this in the south of Boston, and
Okay.
so I grew up watching a lot of like mobster Boston townie movies. And my dad is a huge movie buff, so I would watch tons of movies with my dad. And side note, he showed me The Exorcist when I was 8 years old. Some people might say that's bad parenting, but that was my first horror movie I've ever seen. But the way I kind of really got into acting or caught the bug, if you will, I was 17 years old, and my mom said, "How about you, your father, and your buddy, it's my best friend Kyle, go to this cattle call?" And it was for the movie Black Mass. You ever heard of it with Johnny Depp?
Oh, I heard of it. Yeah, I love that movie.
So we went to a cattle call, which was, basically for extras in the area where they hire locals. And I took a headshot, and I remember getting a call a few weeks later, and my mom goes, "Oh, they want you for the movie." And it was a huge production. The budget was huge, and it was a period piece. So it took place, the scene in particular, in like the 70s. So I was wearing bell bottom jeans, a corduroy jacket, and I was getting shuttled to set, and I just was looking around. I was like, "This is amazing." Like that, I got the bug right then and there. I've always loved movies. I had to love to be the center of attention, personality, make people laugh. But that experience right there, and seeing the actors and seeing how it all got put together, really got me going in that direction. And so you asked about actors. That's a great question. I don't necessarily have a particular actor that I'm like, "Oh my god, this is it." But I really admire the character of like Keanu Reeves, like how he operates as a person while
Mhm.
maintaining his fame or his talent, right, and operating throughout the space. I think I look up to someone like that, very much, because I think being a good person is it's so simple, but I'm always saying be a good person before whatever you do. And I think that person, Keanu, leads with great integrity and high moral standards. I would like to work with like Paul Giamatti is a cool guy. Joaquin Phoenix, I really like. If I had to pick a favorite, it would be Joaquin Phoenix. And who else? Sir Anthony Hopkins would be another one. And John Bernthal. That's who I would like to work with.
Okay. Well, that's really awesome. I mean, acting is such a good opportunity, but it could be very difficult because there will be some directors that will give you some scripts to get familiar with because some of them could be like emotional and give you like a difficult time to get in character. But it's always a good opportunity to get used to it, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Watch all the greats. Like I love old movies, and I seen on your page you like to collect some autographs and some of the old actors, and those are the people that are like it's timeless, right? Like the Marlon Brandos, right? Or
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart, or there's a plethora of them. But so I do love the old movies, and that's where you learn, right? Everything is
Mhm.
cyclical in the world, right? All the big actors that you see, they all take from people out in the real world, and they kind of take what they see and they can mold it into a character, or they can watch how someone else did something in the past. So uh yeah, love studying the greats.
Yeah. I mean, I love watching the old classic movies. Like, it really sucks they don't make them anymore because, it's time and everything has to change. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Mhm. All right. Next question. What are your hobbies when you don't do acting? Like, do you play sports? Do you hang out with your friends? Do you do music or anything? Yeah.
Oh, I have tons of hobbies. So you mentioned music. I'm a huge music fan. I love going to rock shows by myself. I flew out to Vegas by myself to go see System of a Down, Slipknot, tons of bands. I've seen Rage Against the Machine by myself, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. There's a big list. I've seen Def Leppard, Steve Miller, and Journey all in one show. So music is huge. I crowd surf and I get in the mosh pit. I'm actually wearing a Alice in Chains t-shirt. It's one of my favorite grunge bands. I'm a
Nice.
I'm a huge foodie, so I love food. So I'll actually go to different places to go try food because I love food. I like to snowboard, play sports, basketball, football, rugby. I love to lift weights. I actually like to run marathons as well. Just recently ran the New York Marathon with my girlfriend Teresa. Shout out to Teresa. I ran the Boston as well. Hanging with friends, getting out in nature, reading. I like to do some reading. I like going to see plays. So a
Mhm.
little bit of everything.
Yeah. Speaking of reading, reading is always important because reading will help you make your brain grow and give you lots of knowledge if you want to get into acting. Because reading is the main thing that every actor has to get familiar with, you know?
Absolutely. I agree, Richard. Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of basketball that you mentioned, I remember I used to be obsessed playing with basketball as a kid. Just like that one time in my neighbor, I used to play basketball with one of my childhood friends. And then when I tried to shoot the basketball into the hoop, it jammed my finger right here and it was
Oh,
all purple.
yep.
Yep.
Not fun. Yeah, I've had that happen before too.
Damn. But yeah. Yeah, but it's always important to put some ice in it and never like scratch it or anything because it will always get worse.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Next question. Have you ever been invited to Comic Cons where you watch the Q&A show with the actors of how they got into acting?
So I've never been invited to Comic Cons. I want like that's my goal, right? If this movie, knock on wood, if they invited us, that'd be fantastic. But I've been to Dragon Con with one of my best buds, Nick Waddell from Atlanta. And I don't
Nice.
know, are you familiar with Dragon Con?
I don't think I have, but I would like to know about it.
So look it up. It's awesome. There's everything. People cosplay of their with their favorite video game characters, anime, movies, anything you can imagine. I went and I was dressed as Danny Phantom, and my buddy was dressed as Box Ghost, and it was awesome. And the thing that really, like, I'm a very passionate person, so I'm all into acting or really all into whatever I do. And I just love seeing people in one place so full of energy and smiles and laughter and so excited about their passion, which is if it's their favorite, like I said, anime, cartoon, movie, video game, superhero. And it was such a blast just to see people really just enjoy and each other, and just the whole experience was awesome. So I would love to get invited to a Comic Con and really get that full experience.
Yeah. Hopefully someday you could get to be invited because I know some fans will be looking forward to meeting you in person. And speaking of Danny Phantom, I remember I used to love that show as a kid. My sister used to have a crush on that character, but I didn't realize Danny Phantom never existed because I know fictional characters aren't real, but the voice actors of them are real in person, which is voiced by David Kaufman, who voiced him. You should look him up someday. He's really awesome. And I think he does acting classes to people that want to get into acting. You should look him up. He's really cool.
Did you meet him?
Um, no, I don't think so, unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
definitely will look him up though. Yeah, those by all the and all the credit to voice actors too. That is such a amazing discipline of acting, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of people don't appreciate it enough. I think that there's so much that goes in behind the voice, and I've seen a little bit of like behind the scenes of what voice actors do, but very, 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 very talented artists for sure.
Yeah. All right. Final question. What are your dream roles that you would like to act in the future? It could be Marvel, Star Wars, DC,
Mhm.
or anything.
Let's go. All right. Well, number one, DC Superman. I would love to play
Awesome.
Superman. That'll be an amazing, amazing, amazing dream come true. I want to play. I would say a soldier. I have so much respect and admiration for the military and people who have served. My dad, my grandfathers, and my cousin and some friends have served in the military. So seeing shows and movies like Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers or The Pacific, Black Hawk Down really got me so like pumped up uh, and got me thinking about, wow, I really would love to play a soldier like that, especially like World War II era, because that generation was uh, amazing. I would love to play a biopic maybe of some sort of rock star. That would be awesome.
Mhm.
Sports movie, anything with sports, that would be fantastic. And it's gonna sound kind of dark, but be like a serial killer or a type of like Dexter type of character would be awesome. Um, a wide range of a little bit of everything, but those are my top, I would say.
That's really awesome. Hopefully, someday you could get those roles in the future. If God notices, he might know who to choose, but we'll see in
But
the future.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right. That is it for this episode. Thank you so much, Steven, for joining here in my podcast series. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. And to all of you fans who are a fan of Popeye, make sure to get your tickets and everything all set for Popeye the Slayer Man, releasing in spring 2025. So be sure to get everything all set and make sure eat all your spinach to grow big muscles.
That's right.
Yep. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, stay awesome, stay positive, and stay happy for all of your fans and co stars. All right. Take care, Steven.
Thank you, Richard.
You too. Bye bye.